Joel Westerman. Tonight he has left his knees and elbows at home to compete under kickboxing rules for the ISKA world title. From the Joe Hilton stables in Queensland, it's wicked Warren Elson. Hammer, one of the hottest fighters in Australia at the moment, of course appearing on the cover of International Kickboxer magazine, Warren Elson.
Certainly right, Michael. Warren Elson, under full Thai rules, the most dangerous fighter in his weight division in the country, indeed, if not the world.
Can he do it, Hammer? Can the Tamworth Terminator, John Halford, put an end to the knockout rampage of Warren Elson?
Well, the Tamworth Terminator is one solid customer. He is tough. He's from the very, very tough mould of fighter. He will not drop and he will not give up. John Halford is a fighter that I have a lot of respect for. He fights under all sorts of rules and he's back in Sydney to show the crowd what he has here tonight.
This is main event time. On the line, the ISKA World Super Middleweight title. We are scheduled for 12 2-minute rounds. Introducing first out of the blue corner tonight, he steps in as the challenger. From the Joe Hilton stables in Queensland. Victories recently over Dale Westerman and Gurkhan Ozcan. The current WMC Super Middleweight Champion of the world, ladies and gentlemen, Warren Elson. In the red corner, defeating recently the legendary Prince Amir for the ISKA World Kickboxing Crown on Fox Sports last year. He trains with Michael Maisie, Mark Tyson and Roy Alexander in his corner. From country New South Wales, the current ISKA World Super Middleweight Champion, the Tamworth Terminator, John Halford. We are scheduled for 12 2-minute rounds.
Well, what a round of applause for the Tamworth Terminator, John Halford. Maybe the biggest test of his decorated career, Hammer. Stepping up against Warren Elson for the world title.
Certainly right, Michael. And very, very focused John Halford. Warren Elson like.
Folks, Warren Elson is the hottest fighter in Australia at the moment. He hasn't lost since defeating Gurkhan Ozcan. The time for talk is over.
Elson also has every fight since fought with knees. Ozcan was the last time he fought without, I believe.
This time under conventional kickboxing rules, we're scheduled for 12-2. The ISKA World Super Middleweight title on the line.
That's a slip.
John Halford left of screen, Warren Elson in the Elf trunks. John Halford, the excellence of execution. Look out for the high round kicks and axe kicks from Halford. And look out for the smothering technique of Warren Elson, the boy wonder from Queensland. Halford, of course, a Kyokushin fighter. You can see the Kyokushin Kanji logo tattooed on his left pectoral. Nice cracking short left hand there from Warren Elson. Goes for the right uppercut. A cracker of a first round so far. Hammer only a minute down.
Certainly Elson looking very focused, but Halford is loading everything up. Maximum.
Big uppercuts there from John Halford. Warren Elson fires straight back. Backs him against the ropes. A 1-2 down to the body from Elson. 1 minute 10 down in the first round. Both men bouncing around on the balls of their feet. They both launch high left round kicks.
Halford's been doing a lot of boxing training in preparation for this bout.
Last time on Fox Sports, of course, we saw John Halford in a conventional boxing contest against Gurkhan Ozcan. Lost that contest on points. Now back in the kickboxing ring. Goes for the right uppercut, does Halford. Front kick off the ropes there. The long legs of Warren Elson with the height and reach advantage. Nice right uppercuts again. Just sneaking them under the jaw of Warren Elson. John Halford, such a well put together technician, Hammer.
Well, his legs are something special. If he can get them happening here tonight, he gets those kicks firing out.
End of the first round of action, Mark the Hammer Castaneda. I tell you what, I love what I'm seeing so far.
I tell you what, Halford just got caught with a nice 1-2 combination on the ropes, right on the bell there. And it was probably just as well as the bell went. That was a good solid left and right there that Elson got away. just working the uppercut and the hook off each other, hit the top of the head of ELSON. But ELSON is a tough customer. I mean, Gurkhan Ozcan could not put him away. That just tells you. And pound for pound, Ozcan would have to be the most or the hardest hitting kickboxer on the circuit. And ELSON stood up to that and outdid Ozcan.
All is in readiness for the second round of action. All right, the Tamworth Terminator, John HALLFORD against Warren Elson from Queensland. The World ISKA Super Middleweight title up for grabs. Big right hand there from Warren Elson to open proceedings. Just looking for the inside leg kick there as John HALLFORD goes for the right uppercut. Warren Elson showing great adaptability to mix up both his Muay Thai and his kickboxing career.
Well, he's transcending the different rules here. Obviously, leaving the knee strikes and the elbows out, and just coming back to the kickboxing rules.
Warren Elson, been one of the fastest moving, fastest rising shooting stars in Australian kickboxing and Muay Thai over the past year, as has John HALLFORD. Of course, HALLFORD was technically perfect in his outing against Prince Amir at Star City Casino in 1999 when he won the world title. And was really the first man to defeat the Prince here in Australia. And after that, Prince Amir went on to lose to Daniel Dawson and to Scott Bannon, but the run sort of began, the run of losses, with John HALLFORD.
Well, John HALLFORD did set that trend off, that's correct, Michael.
And free workout there.
Nice outside leg kick there from Warren Elson.
HALLFORD has great anticipation of distance, especially of his opponents. They can throw a punch and he'll slip them, you know, a matter of millimetres, but that's all it takes to make a punch miss. Doesn't have to miss by a yard. 2-3 mil is a miss, is all you want, is just to let it slip by your brow and bang in your own combination straight back. And that is something that HALLFORD has down to a fine tee. But at this point, Elson's really not making too many mistakes. He's working fairly solidly. Elson carrying his guard perhaps a tad low, but nevertheless he's doing a fine job.
Comments from the former Australian Cruiserweight Muay Thai champion Mark the Hammer Castanini ringside with myself, Michael Chavello. There's the end of the second round. Hammer, how do you see it?
That was an even second round, I'd give that one. Elson, however, worked quite solid. And once again, there you see Elson throwing the rib kick, HALLFORD working off that. They measure each other up. Both fighters showing a lot of respect for each other and really not wanting to leave an opening for the other to capitalise on.
We're rumbling in the third round of action. John HALLFORD versus Warren Elson. If you've just joined us, we're scheduled for 12. HALLFORD a nice couple of step-up jabs there to open up this round. Elson still dancing around on the balls of his feet. Good leg check there from John HALLFORD.
You can hear those shins actually cracking down on each other, Michael. It's like the two hollow bits of steel pipe clanging together.
Big right hand off the jaw there from Warren Elson, just misses with a glancing left hand. John HALLFORD, big sweeping inside leg kick, big right hand from HALLFORD. The Tamworth Terminator, John HALLFORD, might be looking to end this one early. 30 seconds down here in the third round. Don't forget, folks, that Gurkhan Ozcan couldn't put away Warren Elson. He threw everything at him, including the kitchen sink, and he just couldn't put him down.
No gloves.
Can John HALLFORD do it here now? Elson continues to dance around. Plenty of instruction being called from his corner from Joe Hilton, one of the finest trainers on the Sunshine Coast. Just misses with the inside leg kick, does Elson. Catches him on that occasion, then one to the inside left thigh. Big right hand to the guts there from Elson. Turning back kick from John HALLFORD. I wonder if John HALLFORD can get the axe kick up on the tall Warren Elson here, Hammer.
Yeah, well, even if he does, Michael, as I said, with the taller opponents, I don't believe the axe kick can be that effective unless you can really wind it up and crash it down onto the face, because onto the collarbone you can't really get the drop on the heel, so to speak, enough to injure up the collarbone.
Thumping right hand there from Warren Elson, just backing the Tamworth Terminator into the red corner. HALLFORD spins him around nicely.
Nicely reversed there from HALLFORD. He's put Elson back into that red corner now.
Elson now all bundled up in the red corner, just a bit of fancy footwork to get him out of dodge.
Slips out the side door. And that's the mark of an experienced fighter. You know, a lesser experienced fighter would just be still bundled up in that corner, you know, and that's where Halford would have gone to town. But Elson just slipping out the side, saying, I'm not sitting in the corner there, letting you have it all your own way. And that lateral movement coming very, very handy.
At the end of the round, Hammer, how do you see it so far? It's a close one.
It still is a close one. That one maybe just swinging a little way back to the side of Halford. To see Halford there was setting up for that knee strike, but that's not allowed. And Halford working the jab quite well. That's extra boxing tutelage is certainly coming into play for him now. He's looking very focused. Halford he's really got his eye in and working his hands in close. He's probably once again, as we saw earlier in the Barish fight, probably not kicking as much as I would have liked. But he's still, you know, very, very tight and very, very focused.
Fourth round of action underway. Halford versus Elson. A lot of talk surrounding this fight in the couple of weeks leading up to it. Very much mixed thoughts on who would emerge the victor. Some pundits leading more the way of John Halford under kickboxing rules. Inside leg kick there from Halford, then launches the high right round kick. Elson launches one of his own off the lead leg. Just sticks out that probing jab as John Halford wears a short right hand on the side of the jaw. Elson continues to dance forward. Good leg check there from Halford.
Very light on his feet, Warren Elson. Elson, of course, wearing the shorts with the ELF logo on them. ELF obviously is a major sponsor of Thai boxing in Thailand. And that is where that little insignia comes from.
45 seconds down in the fourth round. Nice right hand to the jaw there from Johnny Halford. Halford sticks out the front kick, just to the midsection. Elson slaps downstairs with the leg kick, looking for the big right hand. Here comes Elson now charging him against the ropes. Halford turns him around once again. Very tidy fighter indeed, John Halford, and Warren Elson, well, certainly not the prettiest of fighters, but very effective. Good short left hand there to the side of the jaw from John Halford. Elson backs him into the neutral corner. Both men still dancing very lightly on their feet. Very well-conditioned athletes. Outside leg kick was well checked there by Warren Elson, then went downstairs with one of his own. Just flicking out that sticky left hand there, John Halford. Again, getting it through the guard, followed by the straight right. Elson backs him against the ropes, so Halford just walking forward with the right uppercut. Good solid round by both men again. Hammer 1 minute 45 down.
Once again, it is a very, very even game. It's a real chess game, this one. Both fighters, you know, move for move, countering each other, you know, trying to take an advantage. The other one will negate it, and you know, that's a mark of a very, very evenly matched main event. See Halford just stalking forward, working well off the jab. He's not getting too side on. He's keeping himself squared up nicely so he can work his right side in just as quickly as his left. Elson bouncing around, very light on his feet, and keeping the work rate up. Elson, he hasn't gone for a traditional slow start. He's taken it right up off the mark, and he's just bouncing, trying to be a fairly elusive target for Halford, because he knows if Halford, if he gets fixed and stands there flat-footed, Halford's really going to nail him.
Into the fifth round of action, this one scheduled for 12, the world title on the line. A couple of quick jabs there from Warren Elson. Elson now on the offensive. Halford there for a nice long right hand. Leg kick to the outside left thigh from Elson, then goes for the inside left thigh. Halford just sticks that jab smack bang onto the kisser. Elson just wades across the ring, barreling in with a big left hand. Goes with a couple of cracking inside leg kicks. Halford just tags him with a nice right uppercut. Flicks the front kick up to the face. Spinning hook kick there from Johnny Halford.
That was nicely executed. Could have been a few inches lower, would have hit the target. But Halford, you know, what round are we in now? And Halford's
into the fifth round of action.
The fifth round, Halford's whipping out a spinning heel kick. Shows you just how fit an athlete he is to be able to do that.
1 minute down in the fifth stanza. Overhand right from John Halford. Again, Warren Elson just wading in fist flying. Right hand just falls short of the target there for John Halford. Fires out another one. Inside leg kick from Elson. Halford just stalking him. Slipping out that jab and just slipping the jab of Elson. Elson goes to the outside right thigh. Halford not taking any risks. Just checks the low kick, fires out a right uppercut, then goes to the outside right thigh. Good combinations from Johnny Halford. 1.5 minutes down, hammer in the 5th round.
This round leaning a little Halford's way. His anticipation is starting to really get his eye in, and he's picking the combos well.
Snappy left hand again from John Halford. Instructions being yelled from his corner by Mark Tyson. Couple of beautiful stinging left hands there. Smack bang on the nose to end the round from John Halford.
Well, John Halford certainly in that round had his eye in and really was landing a couple of clean combinations. He had a good couple of uppercut hook combos working for him.
The hands of Halford just seem a little bit too quick for Warren Elson at the moment.
And they're consistent. You know, he keeps working them, he keeps overlapping the technique. He's not relying on 1 or 2s. He's throwing his punches in 3s and 4s minimum, and you know, working very, very tightly indeed. There you see Halford just stalking forward, checking out the kick, bang, answering with one of his own, and overlapping the hands and feet really well. There's that leg check, negating that thigh kick, answers with a thigh kick of his own. And have a look at Halford. He's just there, he's having a look at everything, balking slightly out of the way, not moving too much, not doing any sort of movement that he doesn't have to do. Very economic in his movement.
We're rolling into the 6th round of action. Definitely the handiwork from John Halford has looked good so far. Can Warren Elson start to unload with those big leg kicks of his?
Well, Elson's bouncing around very light on his feet, which is good form from him, but he's just got to step up a bit more with his punching. You know, he's throwing everything from range, but it is falling short. You know, he really has to step through and throw his punches with a little bit more conviction.
Hammer, we're halfway through the fight now. Could Warren Elson be trying to step it up from here and really bring it home for the latter rounds?
Well, I think looking at it, Elson is really trying to find an opening that Halford's not giving him. You know, Halford is playing a very, very tight game. His defences are superior, and his anticipation is in line with that.
Round kick to the ribs there, off the right leg from Warren Elson. Halford, his eyes are always fixed on the eyes of Warren Elson. Beautiful, crisp lead leg round kick to the head there from Halford. Oh, nice right hand, rocked Elson's head back on that occasion.
There's that anticipation that I was talking about. The round kicks whipped past Halford's head. He's rocked back, bang, answered with the right hand of his own.
Halford really is a very clinical fighter. He really is a thinking man's fighter, Hammer.
He certainly is. And
if you enjoy watching good technique and good strategy, you'll enjoy watching Johnny Halford.
I've been told Halford's been doing a little bit of boxing training with Shannon Taylor.
Inside leg kick there from Warren Elson. 1 minute 30 down here in the 6th round of action. This one's scheduled for 12. Outside leg kick there from Elson. Elson moving laterally around the ring. Johnny Halford controlling the centre of the ring at the moment. Elson just couldn't get off the front kick off the right leg, looking to force Elson back, force Halford back. Nice thumping right hand there from Warren Elson. Tried to work in the short right uppercut, then went for the inside leg kick. A solid round from both men on that occasion, Hammer.
A good solid round, but Elson is keeping busy, but does keeping busy, you know, count if the punches aren't hitting? You know, he's throwing a lot of stuff that Halford's just weaving out of the way of. There it is. So there's that high round kick. Halford rocked back, bang, let the right hand go. So out of that little, you know, confrontation, Halford would have to take the points because what Elson threw wasn't really connected with or was negated. So, you know, Halford is playing, as you said, Michael, a very, very smart fight.
Referee Billy Soulis gets us underway for round number 7. This one's scheduled for 12. Warren Elson against John Halford, the ISKA World Super Middleweight strap on the line.
And a big hello to all the guys and girls down there at the Blitz Martial Arts Centre, Blitz Thai Boxing Club.
Beautiful jab right-hand combination there from John Halford to open proceedings in this round. Goes for the round kick to the ribs. Halford's shin guard just falling down there. He'll go to his corner and get that tended to. Needs a little bit of taping there, Hammer.
Really, I look at these shin guards, and they
More
are
trouble than they were.
they're a bit ridiculous, really. They're only wetsuit material to boot, and you know, if there's any difference between wearing them and not wearing them, I don't know. But, as I said earlier, the shin guard thing is great in theory.
Keep your legs warm.
But in practice, you know, take up netball if you don't want to get your legs hurt.
Comments from the former Australian Cruiserweight Muay Thai champion, Mark the Hammer Castanini. Ringside with myself, Michael Chavello. Warren Elson's come out smacking now. Nice round kick combination from Elson. Still not connecting with the accuracy he would like. As the Hammer said, Johnny Halford, a great anticipator, and really is anticipating a lot that Elson is throwing at him. And manages to get out of the way. Just launches a good right hand to the jaw there, does Halford. Nice short left hook from Halford. Front kick off the lead leg from Warren Elson. Elson still bouncing around on the balls of his feet.
Well, we were talking earlier, Michael, just about this battle, and you were saying to me that it was going to be a very technical fight that you know, you thought would go the distance, and that prediction is pretty much looking the goods at this point. Both very, very tough customers, and at a skill level almost on par.
I just can't see Johnny Halford knocking out Warren Elson, Hammer. Halford really isn't a knockout fighter, and at the same time I can't see Elson putting away Halford either. Halford's just too smart for him, too clever.
Well, it is very much, you know, it is very much a game of chess. It's move for move all the way.
Really, for the people that love the aesthetics of kickboxing, you're seeing a classic contest at the moment.
Well, this
snapping inside leg kick from Warren Elson.
This is, yeah, you're seeing all the range of techniques, you're seeing the good hand skills, and you're seeing, of course, the kicks being thrown over the top of that. And you can see the red thigh there, the red and lead thigh of Halford is a testament to the work rate of Elson.
Big right hand there from Warren Elson.
Cracking in with those legs now as both boys sort of start to go to work right at the end of the round.
End of the 7th round, Hammer. I'll tell you what, things are really hotting up here at the E.G. Whitlam Centre.
There you see Elson just chopping away at the thigh as Halford just takes a step back, didn't have the full effect of the kick. Bobbing and weaving Elson, but Halford chopping away at the ribs, looking for an opening, thinking about where to throw the punches, and that's the difference between a novice fighter and an experienced fighter. An experienced fighter won't throw a punch or a kick unless he can really find an opening for it.
We're rolling into the 8th round of action. Warren Elson versus John Halford. This fight is everything we thought it would be and much more. It really is a fight for the purists. Credit must be given, of course, Hammer, to Warren Elson, leaving his knees and elbows at home as Johnny Halford winds up for a big spinning heel kick. But Elson has looked very comfortable on the kickboxing rules.
Well, he is. He's obviously been well prepared. Joe Hilton's prepared Warren up a treat for this. And, you know, he doesn't seem too phased about not being able to throw the knee strikes or the elbow strikes. And those elbow strikes can be something quite lethal if they're connected right. There's 8 weapons in the body. That's the way the Thais look at it. You've got 2 knees, 2 elbows, 2 hands and 2 feet. So this is limiting it down to 4, just the kicks and the punches. So Elson is, you know, having to adapt, and he's doing that quite well at this point.
Snappy right hand there from Warren Elson, then goes to the outside right thigh. A chopping leg kick from Johnny Halford, then plants the left hook. Elson wore a few punches on that occasion, but Elson continues to dance forward. The WMC World Muay Thai champion won't take no.
Well, Elson's keeping busy, but, you know, unfortunately a lot of what he's throwing is missing and hitting gloves and arms and, you know, that type of thing. It's not really hitting the desired target. And, you know, if this does go the distance, that could be the deciding factor.
Short uppercut in close there from John Halford. Elson went to the outside left thigh. Snappy left hand again from Halford. Good leg kick to the outside right thigh on that occasion from Halford. Puts the front kick into the midsection. Round kick, just not enough mustard behind it. Beautiful turning back into the stomach there from John Halford. The judges will certainly appreciate that one, Hammer.
Well, you know, as we said earlier, you know, Halford is pulling these kicks out at this late stage in the fight. It just shows you how fit he is, because your body does get very physically tired, you know, this late into a fight. There you see Halford just going to work on the inside, and that's what I was talking about with that slipping. He's just slipping those punches. There's the spinning back kick, getting just into the midsection. Didn't seem to face ELSON that much, and that's the spinning heel kick up to the head. Lost his footing on that on the bit of the slippery mat there, which is the painted area. And if your feet are a bit wet underfoot, you get onto that painted area and you lose your footing straight away. I'll tell you a neat little trick that was used at one stage, and I think it still is some of the trainers are actually spraying Coke on the bottom of the feet of their fighters to give them that sticky advantage. So there's a different use for your Coke, Michael, but I know you prefer to drink it in litres.
Underway, 9th round of action. This one looking very likely that it could go the distance. Really is one for the purists. Front kick just missing the target there from Warren ELSON. Step up jab from ELSON caught Johnny Halford. Halford goes with an inside leg kick. Outside thigh being pulverised there by Warren ELSON. That snappy jab again from Halford. Just another probing left hand from Halford. Then went for the high left round kick. ELSON goes to the outside left thigh. Big thumping, club thumping right hand from Warren ELSON. ELSON still dancing around on the balls of his feet.
ELSON's starting to find his range now, and he's starting to get those inside and outside thigh kicks landing. He could probably finish up a little tighter with the hands, but it is really becoming, you know, the strong hand skills of Halford versus, you know, those scoring leg kicks of ELSON. He's working the inside and outside thigh well, ELSON.
1 minute 10 down in the 9th round of action. This one scheduled for 12. Outside leg kick just missing the target from ELSON. Halford, a couple of short ones to the ribs. Nice inside leg kick to the inside left thigh from Halford. ELSON goes away to the outside left thigh. Good leg check there from Johnny Halford. So ELSON goes to the inside again. They're trading blows upstairs and downstairs. Beautiful break, man.
I'll tell you what, Michael, if you're seeing those inside thigh kicks crash in there, just give the inside of your thigh a bit of a whack, and you'll know only 10% of what it feels like when your opponent's shin comes crashing in there. It's a very, very tender part of the leg. It's not a part of the leg that is usually conditioned, and these guys are picking that inside thigh kick at will. And you know, that an unconditioned fighter will certainly cork up the leg and retard the movement of the fighter. There you see ELSON inside, outside thigh, hands over the top, back to the inside thigh. He's just working also solidly now, ELSON. Halford still with that great anticipation, still very square. He's looking like a very complete fighter. And I'll tell you what, there's a world-class athlete you're seeing here, and that's why they're really going peg for peg, because they are so evenly matched and they are so high in the skill level that you know, neither of them is making any silly mistakes, which is letting the other one in.
Louis kicks off round number 10. It's been an absolute technical war so far. Nice 1-2 to the jaw, then the leg kick combination from Warren ELSON. Maybe he'll start to bring on the heavy artillery now. Just pack a little bit more power behind those salvos. Johnny Halford, a rapid-fire combination upstairs, then an inside thigh kick. Warren ELSON goes with the high left round kick. Halford returns one of his own. They are trading blow for blow, neither man giving an inch. Halford, good solid right uppercut in close there. ELSON just looking for the switch up round kick. Good inside leg kick there from John Halford. It's been working for him right throughout the fight so far.
I'll tell you what, this fight is going all too close for either corner. I mean, if I was in one of those corners or either of the corners, I'd be saying to my fighter now, you've really got to take an advantage. You've really got to throw caution to the wind a little, because if it goes into the hands of the judges, anything can happen.
Neither of these men is taking a back step at the moment. Hammer in round number 10. They are going blow for blow.
Well, they've got to just pick it up and throw some of those big bombing overhands, perhaps.
Halford, a very cagey fighter, tries to go away to the left rib cage again. Step up jab, right hand from Halford. Front kick off the ropes there from ELSON. ELSON still bouncing around on the balls of his feet. ELSON just moves forward on HALLFORD. That whipping high left round kick just glanced past the brow of HALLFORD. Inside leg kick from HALLFORD again. He is punished. That inside left thigh of ELSON. ELSON with the back kick. Inside leg kick again from John HALLFORD. ELSON continues to wait for it again. He will not take a backward step. Good leg check there from HALLFORD. Warren ELSON taking some punishment. Continues to move forward. HALLFORD just picking his shots nicely at the moment. Into the final seconds of the 10th round. There we go. Hammer, we're moving in to round number 11. What a cracker for the world title.
It's all starting to look good. ELSON just firing out the hand combinations. Have a look at HALLFORD go there. He's working his uppercuts and his hooks really well. Inside thigh landing cleanly there from ELSON. But HALLFORD stalking forward. HALLFORD wants to get into that hand range. He's not really kicking as much as I would like, but his hands, because of all the extra boxing work he's done, I think he's feeling a little more confident with his hand work now, HALLFORD, and that's what he's wanting to really have a hit out with here tonight.
Into round number 11, the penultimate round of action. Outside leg kick there from Warren ELSON. High left round kick from John HALLFORD. HALLFORD checks the inside leg kick. Step up jab from HALLFORD, just seared past the brow. ELSON dancing around the ring. Both these men tremendously fit athletes. Lead leg round kick to the head from ELSON. Good leg check again there from HALLFORD. His defences are right on tight here tonight. Managing to slip out of the way of a lot of ELSON's hand attacks and check a lot of the leg kicks. Nice leg kick and a good inside thigh kick there from ELSON. HALLFORD returns one to the outside right thigh. Can one of these men pull out a real surprise? Could they pull out a knockout blow? I don't think so, Hammer.
Well, it's a mark of two experienced fighters that one is not giving the other an inch.
Sweat just flying off both men as they clashed in front of our commentary position. 1 minute down in the 11th round. Looking for the big Bertha right hand there was Johnny HALLFORD. They clashed leg kicks. Nice front kick snappily off the left leg. Good right hand to the side of the jaw from Warren ELSON, just wading forward, just smothering John HALLFORD against the ropes. 1 minute 20 down now in the 11th round.
A beautiful left hook. He's wobbled ELSON. He's wobbled ELSON. John HALLFORD's wobbled him. Warren ELSON's hurt. He might go down.
Can Johnny HALLFORD bring it home now? Johnny HALLFORD on a demolition mission. Here comes HALLFORD.
He's got his zeroing in on the target.
ELSON's wobbled.
Him up.
It could be history in the making. ELSON's wobbled. Blood just flying out of his goal. ELSON's on rubber leg street. ELSON's wobbled in the 11th. It's pandemonium here at the Whitlam Centre. ELSON still firing back. HALLFORD lays another right hand.
Well, why
ELSON very sore and sorry. Hammer, I love it.
Why ELSON wants to get into a boxing match with John HALLFORD at this late stage of the fight, especially after he's been hurt, I have no idea.
Oh, Hammer, I'll tell you what.
You know, he did tag him. He did tag him good. There you see HALLFORD just biting at his mouth guard. He can sense it. Bang, there it goes. That was the right hand that hurt him. And the left, it really was just an onslaught of punches, one after the other, that really rattled ELSON. Overhand right got him first. The tight little left didn't do any harm at all. And to HALLFORD anyway. And he just zeroed in on that chin of ELSON and just went to work. He really could feel the victory coming for him. ELSON just has to last out this last round.
Hammer, you might have to get out the oxygen mask for me. HALLFORD might want to finish it here in the 12th and final round.
I might hide the oxygen mask, Mike. Just wants to pass out.
It was absolute pandemonium in the 11th. A big thumping right hand again from HALLFORD. Johnny HALLFORD can sense victory. Another right hand from HALLFORD. He is going ahead hunting. He is bringing out the heavy artillery in the 12th and final round. A smacking hook from HALLFORD. He wants to put Warren ELSON away. Another right hand. Warren ELSON taking more knocks to the front door. Big right hand on top of the cranium. The cranium cracker from Johnny Hawford. Elson in a world of hurt, but he continues to wade forward. Hawford cracking away to the outside right thigh. Oh, big right hand again, just twisting the neck. Warren Elson is hurt. Warren Elson is hurt.
Well, Warren Elson, his guard is a little weaker, looking a little weaker now after getting tagged in the 11th round. And here comes Johnny Hawford, building up the full head of steam.
Elson absorbing punishment. Look at Hawford, cool, calm and collected.
Well, Hawford doesn't want to let it go down to the judges. He wants to take it beyond all doubt. Elson is just doing his best to hang on. 1 minute down in the 12th and final round. Johnny Hawford continues to go forward. He's looking for the big good night Irene right hand. And it's an oh-so-close battle. Elson looking at this point content to last out the round and let it go to the judges. Hawford, he's got something else in mind.
It is an absolute slugfest in the 12th and final round. Can Warren Elson pull a rabbit out of the hat? Johnny Hawford has been all over him in the past 2 rounds. Hawford now with a big left hook. Leg kick there from Hawford. Elson just hanging on into the final 20 seconds. It has been absolute heart attack stuff. Elson fires the big right hand. Elson looking for the front kick. They tie up yet again into the final 10 seconds now, Hammer. Elson again with the big right hand into the final seconds of this bout. The world title on the line. There it is. The end of the 12th and final round. It has been an absolute war, Hammer. What a war.
He did what he set out to do. He stuck in there. And he showed that he's good, just as good as anyone under kickboxing rules, Warren Elson. And he is a fighter that's just maturing in leaps and bounds, moving around, always on the balls of his feet, nice and tidy. But Johnny Hawford, that extra handiwork he's been doing has certainly paid dividends for him here tonight. He did rattle Elson, and you know, that is just testament to the power of John Hawford. And the technical ability, well, that's just something you don't see. You know, usually the fight will either swing one way or the other. We don't see too many kickboxing bouts these days, Michael, going the full 12 rounds. But this is something special here that we're seeing, and both boys just working in off each other and neither giving an inch. And it was just that one little opening, one little slip up of Warren Elson in the 11th round that I believe possibly could have cost him the fight. Although Johnny Hawford was consistently piling up the points.
We have a majority decision. Judge Les Fitters scores the bout 119-113. Judge June Abbott scores the bout 115-115. Judge Nell Ward scores the bout 119-111. Your winner and ISKA World Super Middleweight Champion, the Terminator, John Hawford.
Well, there you have it, Hammer. A decision going the way of the Terminator, John Hawford.
Well, a close one, and deserved victor, John Hawford. And take nothing away from Warren Elson. What a great sterling effort from him.
Andy Raymond's with the new champion, John Hawford.
John Hawford, that was just basically one hell of a performance. Congratulations on arguably one of the most polished performances I've seen.
Thanks very much. Firstly, there's so many people to thank. Just before anyone goes, I'd like to thank all the crowd for coming and supporting kickboxing, because without you people, kickboxing wouldn't be kickboxing. Thanks very much for coming. I'd like to thank Fox Sport for covering the show, Richard Bradford for such a big and tremendous show, bringing everyone from far in between, from different countries, from different states. I'd like to thank my boxing trainer, Roy Alexander, my sparring partner Michael Maisie, my manager Rob Murdoch. How tough's this boy? Geez, he's a machine.
I was going to talk to you about Roy Alexander, a guy I know a lot about and have had a lot to do with, but the boxing training you've been doing with Roy really was evident tonight. You were able to keep this critter at bay.
Yeah, I put so much, you know, I travel all the way from Tamworth to come here to Penrith to train under Roy. I'm going to start doing a little bit of boxing. As you can see with Warren, the way he was kicking, it certainly takes a toll on your legs over a period of time. I come into the fight, as you've seen, I didn't kick as much as I normally do. I come into the fight with a couple of broken bones in the legs, but no excuses. I was just so happy to stand up to Warren's tremendous leg kicks. Yeah, back to Roy. He's certainly a very well-known man in the sport of boxing, and I owe a lot to Roy as well. Thanks very much, Roy Alexander.
Marvellous performance at this point in time. We'll call in Warren Elson, who probably doesn't feel all the best at the moment, but you ran into one very tough young bloke tonight. You're a guy whose style and whose rhythm we've come to know and love, but you just couldn't seem to get into a rhythm tonight.
No, I just couldn't pick John Halford off tonight. John, I've got to say, mate, that world title you got, I don't think no one's going to get that for a while, mate.